Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the board's business meeting. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We have a relatively large agenda today, although things should move relatively quickly because I think everything's pretty straightforward. So, let's begin. Any additions or deletions to tonight's agenda? And I might add that there's only 6 of us tonight. Mr. Bletcher has been excused from the meeting. Seeing none, I would make a motion to approve the agenda as shown.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so the agenda is set. Next, we have public comment on the agenda. 3 minutes. I see it. Okay, Kathy.
From the dark.
These are on agenda items, please.
Well, it's on agenda item?
Yes.
Anything?
No, not anything. That's later. Agenda items. Okay, thank you, Kathy, for those comments. We will see you later. See no more comments at this time. We'll move on to the consent agenda. David?
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve consent agenda 22-045, which consists of the following: minutes of the August 8th, 2022 regular meeting, minutes of the August 8th, 2022 closed session, check registers dated through September 2nd, approval to process and distribute payments through September 30th, 2022, award a bid for the animal shelter porch reconstruction, purchase of an electric gate valve and hydrant turner, an extension of our hydroseeding contract, and appointment of bond counsel and financial advisors for capital improvement bonds. And I want to add to that, that's for the as a result of the approval of the wastewater treatment plant millage in the August election.
Is that in a resolution?
That is no. That is not.
Okay. All right. Do I have a
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Okay. Do we have a second? Good. Any questions or comments?
I just had a couple of quick questions about the check registers,
Yep.
Mr. Treasurer. There's items on here that are, well, if
You refer to the page if
yeah,
you have
I
it.
can. It looks like page 10 of 93, and it's register number 77707. And it's just a residential address. So I was just curious what, there's a couple of them on there.
There's probably 3 or 4 or 5. Those are checks that were cut under the drainage grant program.
Oh, okay.
They go to the address.
That is all I had. Thank you.
All set? Okay. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we have a motion to approve consent agenda 22-045, which consists of the minutes of the August 8th, 2022 regular meeting, minutes of the August 8th, 2022 closed session, check register dated through September 2nd, 2022. Approval to process and distribute payments through September 30th, 2022. An award bid for animal shelter porch reconstruction. An electric gate valve and hydrant turner purchase. An extension of our hydroseeding contract, and the appointment of bond counsel and financial advisors for the capital improvement bonds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. That passes. All right. And that takes care of our consent agenda. Action items. David, you have the first.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve the attached notice of intent resolution to issue capital improvement bonds for the wastewater treatment plant improvements.
Second.
Thank you. Dave,
And
any
this
background?
this resolution will allow the township to well, we have to publish our intent to issue the general obligation limited tax bonds in an amount not to exceed $10 million. And these will be used for the constructing equipping improvements and upgrades to the wastewater treatment plant pursuant to State of Michigan legal order. This was the mandate that the state handed down. And the bonds will be repaid from the millage, the .95 mils that was passed in the August election.
Any questions or comments by the board? Derek, do you want to add anything to that?
Just thank you to the residents for their support on this ballot initiative. These improvements, these are required by the state to increase the capacity of the plant, and this is the township moving forward in that process to bring us into compliance and make sure that the plant does its job and has the ability to do its job properly. That's
Thank
it.
you.
And just make a note that we have to post the intent to sell bonds for 45 days, which also gives members of the public 45 days to generate a petition to stop the sale of the bonds. But they would have to get, I remember what I read, 10% of the electorate to sign a petition to do so. So just voting it on the millage wasn't the final step. So that is how the process works.
Okay, thank you, Uda. Anything else? Seeing nothing, we have a motion to approve the attached notice of intent resolution to issue capital improvement bonds for the wastewater treatment plant improvements. And I'm going to have a roll call vote on this one. Kyle?
Aye.
Uda?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Jameson?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
And I vote aye. That passes. Okay, and Ms. Uta, you are up.
It's a change. I would like to make a motion that, based upon the recommendation of the Community Recreation Commission, to approve the Centennial Farm Fence Extension Project in the amount of $63,102.50.
Support.
As we have Chad, our CRC chair, here because Kim could not be here tonight. He will speak a little bit about the project and answer some of your questions since I'm still relatively new. Ann has the financials on the project. Just a short history. In May of 2022, the CRC and the Township Board approved the Centennial Farm fence replacement project for 4 sections of fencing at the farm. But after discussion with C.E. Rains, our township engineer, the CRC and the contractor, the fencing, we learned that the fencing prices are going to go way up in the next year. And since all the fences really need replacing, not just the ones that we started with, and not just for aesthetic purposes, but for the safety of animals and humans, we sought a change order to expand the scope of the project, to extend where the fences were going to go. So now that I've made a real clear, muddy case for this, Chad will walk us through.
I think what easier description is if you look at this map, where it says Gene, that's where the rec building is. B, C, and D are what are being installed right now. F is already done, and G and H are what the extension is, because we thought we should just do all of them at once. So that's why we're at.
So E would be the only one that's not?
E is, I'm sorry, A, B, C, D, and E are all being worked on. F is done. G and H will be the extension. And I, we're going to use that as recreation property as we see fit down the path. So,
Okay.
So will that fence come down the I, Chad?
that's the plan, but we don't want to get
Go ahead.
all worked up yet. So,
But
yeah.
that area isn't being used right
It is
now?
not, no.
So
No.
it's just going to sit?
But if
That's
anybody
fine.
drives down to the farm, it looks amazing. And it's not wood, it's like a Tyvek, is that the
Yeah.
right term type thing? It's plastic, Tyvek, yeah, so.
But it's beautiful, crisp, white,
Yes.
clean lines. The horses won't eat it.
Yeah, and we plan on doing the
Chew it.
approach from 3rd Street right there to make the visual pretty nice too, so.
Very good.
But we have the money, capital improvement fund, any remaining will come from our rollover, carryover, right? Mm-hmm. Are we good?
So the contractor is Veterans Fence Company?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't think it says that specifically in the motion. I don't know if that's
It's an
significant.
extension to the contract.
Oh, it's a current.
That
Yeah.
that
Okay.
Veterans has for what's been done.
Oh, okay. All right.
Any more questions?
And not a lot, and excuse me if I'm not as prepared tonight as I usually am. I think COVID wiped our family out pretty good this month, so I'm a little bit slower. No, not now, but a couple weeks back. I do have a question, Derek. Maybe Derek Thiel could help me with this in terms of the lease with the current leaseholders there. That's right now we're going month to month, right? Is that out of negotiation or?
It's currently in negotiations, but
Okay.
it is month to month. The current term has expired, the previous term expired.
Okay.
And we're currently in negotiations with the tenant.
Okay, and is there any sense of when that lease?
September 16th is the deadline we set again.
Okay, gotcha. September 16th. Okay, that was
I
my
know,
main.
that's a whole nother issue.
I know, it's
dude.
another,
What
well,
the heck?
I would argue it's related, but I don't want to get into that.
Point of order here, Mr. Trustee.
It's another issue, but I would argue it's related, but I don't want to get into it now. I wanted to understand where that was before
Yeah.
I voted on this.
But check out the fence down at the farms.
And quite truthfully, I mean, obviously, those areas that are by them are being redone. That should make them happy. But the negotiations are something separate. Yep.
Okay, thank you. That was my question.
Okay.
When
Anything
I
else?
have an
Oh,
update, I'll give it to you.
Okay.
anything else?
Yeah, totally.
Sorry.
Seeing none?
Well, I
we
had
have-
a question about I don't know if, Ann, were you going to talk about the finances?
Yep, absolutely. So the end of last year, the Recreation Department had a carryover, or basically a cash balance of about $265,000. And in the current year she budgeted about $27,000 she had left over between revenue and expense, so she's definitely has the money available.
So it's all recreation
All
funds?
recreation.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, as it would be. I mean, nobody else, no other department could pay for that out of their own funds. Now, there could be intergovernmental loans, but just paying for it couldn't be done.
That answers my question.
Okay. Anything else? See nothing. We have a motion based upon the recommendation of the Community Recreation Commission to approve the Centennial Farm Fence Extension Project in the amount of $63,102.50. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, we're going to get all those fences done. Thank you, Chad. All right. Oh my gosh. Uta, you're up again. Boy, we're covering all your commissions tonight.
This is exciting. Actually, this is exciting. I would like to make a motion that based on the recommendation of the Grosse Ile Fire Commission, the Township Board approve the purchase of 2 Motorola handheld radios from Motorola, which is a single source vendor, for $12,342.58.
Support.
I would just like to add that these items are included in the fire department budget, and Chief Beaudry is here if you have any questions, or for Ann.
And Russ, why don't you come up, because I know I have a question. And it's a fairly straightforward one. Why do we need them?
These radios we use in our day-to-day operations when we go on rescues. Right now, we have 2 that we need immediately. Eventually, you would like to have a radio for each firefighter. When they respond to a medical emergency, they're walking into a house sometimes alone. For their own safety, they should have their own radio. Sometimes they call for help. We got a patient that's crashing quickly, they can communicate with the ambulance immediately. If they ever got into a situation where they were in danger, they could report it as well. A lot of times when we respond to calls, we're walking into people's houses. So we're doing a little bit at a time. We're trying to look for more economical ways, but Motorola's a single source.
Yeah.
And eventually we're going to get to the point where every firefighter has his own radio when he's responding to a medical emergency, whatever it is.
So we're adding 2 more now.
Two more now.
From what we have, and we'll probably add a couple more down the road.
Yes.
Can keep
yes.
going. Okay.
I'm kind of waiting for, I don't want to get them all at once. I want to see if we can maybe get a better deal.
And with money that's out there and possible grants, maybe we can sneak that in and get them that way too. So very good.
Correct.
One question, Russ. Are these, so these are new, not replacement?
One of them is being replaced. We did have a radio that needs to be replaced. So one of them is going to be replaced, and the second one will be a new radio.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Anything else?
Meaning we'll have a total of 3.
No, just 2 that we're
just
purchasing
2.
right
Nope.
now. And
Well, how many do you have right now before we purchase these?
the radios,
Yeah.
we have them in the trucks. I have 13 members that don't have a radio.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So we do have some. We're actually adding one extra because one's going to replace an old one.
Yes.
Okay.
Some of the radios that we have date back to 2000. So
And
if
I
you-
think you were going to try also within the firefighting community to see if we can buy some gently used radios or surplus radios, but we did need these 2 ASAP, as
Very
soon as
good.
he could get them.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, we have a thanks, Russ. We have a motion based on the recommendation of the Grosse Ile Fire Commission, the Township Board, that the Township Board approve the purchase of 2 Motorola handheld radios from Motorola, a single source vendor, for the amount of $12,342.58. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Russ, go get your radios. All right. Now,
Right here.
we are going to get to hear from our new community development / DDA director, as we have a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the Township of Grosse Ile to participate in the Michigan Economic Development Corporation Redevelopment Ready Program.
Second.
Thank you. Russ, if you'd come up, please. The Michigan Economic Development Corporation established a statewide Redevelopment Ready Communities program to empower communities to shape their future and maximize economic potential. Redevelopment Ready Communities is a program that provides technical assistance and certifies Michigan communities who actively engage stakeholders and plan deliberate, fair, and consistent processes. All which sounds pretty broad, so I'm going to turn it over to Ross and let him further explain what this is. Thanks,
All right.
Ross.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. We're working on the PowerPoint right now. Just one moment. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. So today I'm asking you guys, everyone, to sign a letter of resolution of intent to engage in the Redevelopment Ready program through the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. And to kind of give you some background on what the Michigan Economic Development Corporation is.
Hold on, Ross, hold on a second.
Oh, just hit that faucet.
Gotcha. Thank you. All right. To give you some background on who the Michigan Economic Development Corporation is, in collaboration with more than 100 economic development partners, they market Michigan as a place to do business, assist business in growth strategies, and fosters the growth of vibrant communities across the state. The mission of MEDC is to achieve long-term economic prosperity for Michiganders by investing in communities, enabling the growth of good jobs, and promoting Michigan's strong image across the nation. MEDC's strategic focus aims to position Michigan at the leading edge of economic development in the nation. So what is the RRC program? The Redevelopment Ready Communities Program is a voluntary technical assistant initiative available to communities across the state, which empowers communities to shape their future by building a foundation of planning, zoning, and economic development best practices and integrating them into their everyday functions. RRC promotes communities to be development ready and competitive in today's economy by actively engaging stakeholders and proactively planning, making them more attractive for projects that create places where people want to live, work, and invest. So some of the services that they offer, I understand that we're in the talks of updating our master plan. They offer up to 70% in match funding for those plans, for capital improvement plans, corridor plans. I understand that we need to update some of our zoning, and they help with that as well. They have professionals that actually will come in and kind of look over our current zoning maps and our zoning ordinances. And we also have access to programs like Michigan Main Street, developer toolkits, placemaking programs. This basically just kind of opens up the door to grants and a lot of opportunities to sort of update some of the things that we need to do on the community development side. So why should we participate? MEDC assists with streamlining the process and procedures for development. They offer a professional review of our planning, zoning, and development plans, like I just said. They grant access to community development incentives for Macomb Street, and they provide technical assistance. They also provide assistance with implementing strategies for the Downtown Development Authority Master Plan and the Township's Master Plan. So they kind of help us implement what's lined out in the master plan and give us strategies to kind of carry out those initiatives. So how much will it cost us? It costs us nothing. And like I said, they offer match funding. So sort of here's how the steps, here's how everything kind of lays out. Initially, we engage by completing the RSC Best Practices Training Series, which I have completed. And tonight, maybe we will pass a resolution of intent outlining the value that the community sees in participating. Then connect with an RSC planner to notify them of our intended engagement, which I have done. And then finally commit by signing an MOU with MED or with RSC. And then a planner will reach out to schedule an onboarding session, and then they will provide a baseline evaluation. Let's see here, sorry. Then we will continue to decide on whether or not we will continue, or we will decide on whether or not we will continue. And if we do, the board will pass an intent to proceed, signed by the board. And then we'll incorporate the missing RSC best practices. And this will be all the community development department. This will take anywhere from 0 to 5 years, kind of taking the baseline evaluation, taking that and just implementing those strategies that they gave to us. So, and like I said, it would take about 0 to 5 years. But the township can go at our own pace with this process. So, and these are the other communities in Michigan. There are 64 certified communities, 5 essential communities. It's recommended that we first go with the essentials community and then try to get certified. But there are 241 communities that are engaged with this program. And these are the similar size communities: Houghton, Alpena, Grand Haven, Cadillac. And I guess if you have any questions, please let me know.
Go ahead, Uda.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I think I have 2 questions and a caution. The word development is a scary word here on Grosse Ile, and I think we have kind of a 2-pronged strategy historically on the island, preserving the green space, open space, but then also carefully, mindfully developing, as you said, Macomb Street, the Airport Commerce Park. We've identified areas on the island that we think are good for development. And then we've identified areas that we would like to preserve. And so, but whenever I hear someone say ready for development, you know, one of those cautions. But my question is, what are the strategies, the best practices that you think are currently missing, that you think this would help? And then part 2 is, will this, I don't think this will replace our relationship with our planning professionals. This basically, I guess I'm asking, will supplement what they can do for us and save us some money in the process.
Yes, I think that, well, to kind of backtrack, the development side of things, we have, it's not that MEDC comes in and says, these are, you know, we're going to have apartments here in this open space. We're going to put, you know, it's not that at all. We get to write out what we want to do. They are basically helping us guide the process of You know, if a business wants to come set up shop in Grosio, a small business, we can say, hey, here's everything, here's a timeline, here's the process and procedures that we have readily available to you. It's you know, it's basically outlining exactly what we do on the community development side. You know, having a step-by-step process, I think, really helps. You know, kind of it helps businesses know what they're getting into when they come to Grosio.
Almost like creating a startup kit.
Yes,
that they know what they need to do to start a business here on Grosio.
Yes, and the timeline, you know, might take 3 months, and here's exactly what you have to do. Here on, you know, on this day, here, you know, you get the C of O, you know, or something, you know, along those lines. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other part was that they would work in conjunction with our planning professionals.
Yes.
That would probably save us considerably to have their input. Because last time we did a master plan,
2004.
Yeah. Yes.
It's costly.
Yeah.
If it absolutely is. If you start from scratch, which that isn't our plan, but it's still costly, even taking kind of what we got. We started the process, actually.
But if we do it properly, then also the master plan saves money and actually helps generate, right?
And in fact, this is giving us a bigger plan, if you will, from what I can see. And it affects not only DDA or Macomb Street, our business district, it's for the whole island.
Yes.
And it just, it looks like it's going to put things together so we will know and not have to scratch our heads and think, okay, what are we doing there?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's going to be there for us too. So it sounds like a good, especially at the cost of nothing.
Yes. Yeah, and I've talked with Brian Borden. You know, he thinks this is a really great opportunity for us to pursue, and he's worked in other communities who are certified or who have gone through this program, and he thinks that it's a great thing to pursue. So our planning professional, or you know, Brian's on board. So I think that's good to hear too. So
one quick question.
You first, Dave.
In your opinion, are there any downsides?
I honestly do not think so. I think that it just opens. The downside is it's going to take a lot of work. I'm you know, very willing to do it. I'm excited to get started on this. It's going to take a lot of coordination. It's going to take a lot of, and I think that's going to kind of help. You know, start conversations with different departments, different commissions, getting people on board and saying, hey, this is what we're doing. It's kind of a community-led effort, I think. So I think that's pretty exciting. So
it will take some coordination between community development, maybe the planning commission.
Yep. ZBA or, you know, the DDA, and I think that throughout this, maybe, you know, we'll reach out to different community organizations too. I mean, it's sort of, you know, just it's a very much a community-led thing, and it's having, you know, the help and support of everyone involved is great.
Thanks, Ross.
Yep.
And that's I think you made a good point. The community organizations, because what we always have to keep in mind up here and in the township is that it's what the people want, not what we want.
Exactly.
So we sometimes forget that.
Make that happen.
That is correct, and this sounds like it'll help us.
Yep.
For me, well, first, I was just really excited to see this was coming forward. I almost want to hear a little more about how this came about. And just to let folks know, one thing that I was excited about is during the pandemic, for instance, when there was access to grants, first obviously through the federal government, but more importantly through the state for businesses. Businesses that needed to be in a redevelopment-ready community in order to get grants from the state. So this doesn't just affect the township and the resources that are available to us, but also to individual citizens that might have businesses here or whatever. There's ways to get access for businesses to grants through this process that I'm really excited about, and I think I would hope that businesses and others on the island would be excited about. So I don't know, I just was really excited that this was happening.
As we find out exactly what that is, we have to let our people know that that's out there and available to them.
Definitely.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes, yes.
Well, and answer a bit to David, and as you know, it's a dynamic process, right? It's and it's exciting. And the last time we did it in the community, it involved the community. I was just a young, brand new, green little planning commissioner 20 years ago when we started one of these processes, and we did public charrettes where we invited people to many different meetings in many different places to kind of, the seniors, the kids, the teens, to decide what is it that you're looking for in your community and how can we make it happen. And that's what I think makes this whole master planning so exciting, is that it really is an opportunity now for us to reach out into the community and say, here, now we have another chance to develop our plan, and then we're here to help implement it, make sure that we can make it so. So I was really excited, also like Kyle. We recently went to Frederick, Maryland, which is an old city in the U.S. It's over 300 years old, I think. And it was really dilapidated and run down and having some real issues. And they had a drain that ran like down the back alley of the two sets of large buildings on the two main streets. And it was just, they said it was like a cesspool. Well, with their redevelopment, they've turned that into a park they've turned that drain into a river with walls, with fountains, with plantings, and so forth. And when we were there, the kids were going there for their homecoming pictures. They were, there were people, all the restaurants were now facing the little riverside. And it was a project that they were very proud of, and that was financed through their economic development group. And it became, I won't say a tourist magnet, but it really improved the quality of life for that town. And so, being who I am, I talked to a lot of people on the street there, and they were all very excited about what had happened there in the last, 5 to 10 years. So we've done a lot of talking about Macomb Street, and I know some of our trustees have had ideas of things that we could do, should do, and having this additional resource might really let us get some things to happen on Macomb Street that will, give us a little bit more of the vibe that we're looking for on our street. So thank you for listening, but I just got really excited about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this too. I'm glad you found this. I guess kind of a set of tools that we can put to work. I think planning's important. If we're not planning, we're probably planning to fail. And I'm sure the character of Grosse Ile and Downriver and Michigan as a whole has changed quite a bit since 2004, and maybe even what some of the residents are looking for. So I think now's a great time to strike while the iron's hot. So
definitely.
I appreciate you digging into this, Ross.
Yep. Thank you.
Anyone else? No. Okay. Thank you, Ross. Nice job. I noted on here, your first project.
Thank you.
So we have a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the Township of Grosse Ile to participate in the Michigan Economic Development Corporation Redevelopment Ready Program. And I am going to do a roll call vote on this. Joe?
Aye.
Jameson?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Uta?
Aye.
Kyle?
Aye.
And I vote aye. You will get your resolution, sir, and start this off. Planning is always important, and this, I think, will help us a lot.
Oh.
All right, last action item, David, if you would, please.
Thank you.
Back to reality.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion based upon a recommendation from the township's engineer that Grosse Ile Township, the Township Board hereby approves a contract with Veolia Water Contract Operations USA at a cost of $73,686.50, plus a 10% contingency for a total of $81,055.15 for the rebuild of primary clarifier tank number 1 at the Groseal wastewater treatment plant.
Second.
David?
Well, earlier this year, the board approved the purchase of the equipment and to rebuild that primary clarifier, and so went out for bid for the actual installation, and I believe there were four bids. Only 2 of which showed up for the pre-award contract, and this work went to Viola. The other one, and this is a question I would like Derek to address. Viola was $73,000 and change, and Monroe Plumbing and Heating was $230,000. But when this is done, all our primary and final clarifiers will have been rebuilt within the last 18 months. So we'll be good to go at the wastewater treatment plant.
That's a big spread. Yeah. There is a significant spread between the 2 bidders. Raines did go ahead and verify, as they always do with bids that are received, Veolia's bid with Veolia and Monroe Plumbing and Heating with that vendor to make sure that their numbers are accurate. Veolia is the largest wastewater operating and capital improvement company in the entire world. So they're very capable of doing this type of work and very familiar with doing this type of work, and specifically at our plant because they are actually our operator now. So Suez was bought out by Veolia, so they're very familiar with the plant now. So Raines felt very confident that for the price that was provided, that they could perform the work and were familiar enough with it where there wasn't going to be an issue. So as Dave had mentioned, as the treasurer had mentioned, with this final installation, with this final clarifier, the final of the primary clarifiers being completed under this project scope, we'll have rebuilt all of our primaries and our finals within the past 18 months. So all that existing equipment will be in good condition. So,
thanks, Derek.
Yep.
It was just too big a spread.
That is a big spread, and normally that would be a bit concerning, but I'm not sure if that's a courtesy bid on the second one. I think it's a sign of the times a little bit. And if it was any other vendor other than Veolia, obviously would be a little bit concerned there. But we have a lot of faith in that vendor being the size that they are and the knowledge they have in this type of work. So,
okay, thanks, Derek.
Any other questions?
How long's this glorious new number 1 clarifier gonna operate? What's the lifespan on one of these things? Do you know?
So the clarifier is just basically like a big pool, a big deep concrete pool that has a rotating apparatus that moves throughout the tank and skims off basically sludge. The current equipment that is in that tank has been operating for in excess of 40 years. The new equipment that is being installed is supposed to be more durable than the last equipment that was in there. It has certain apparatuses in it that help to deal with the grit associated with the waste stream, so that the components don't break down with that wear and tear. So we would hope 40 years. The tank is in good condition. They inspect them prior to going out to bid to make sure that there isn't any other concrete repair that's necessary. So we would hope that that would be something that would service us for a long period of time.
Okay. It's a good ROI.
Other questions, comments? Having none, we have a motion based upon a recommendation from the township's engineer that the Groseal Township Board hereby approves a contract with Veolia Water Contract Operations USA, Inc. at a cost of $73,686.50 plus a 10% contingency for a total of $81,055.15 for the rebuild of primary clarifier tank number 1 at the Groseal wastewater treatment plant. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. We now can get our material billed. Thank you, guys. All right, that is the last of our action items. So we're experimenting here, so we have a little change in our format. We're going to go to public comment. 3 minutes. Please state your name and where you live. Do we have anybody? I can't even see Kathy's hand, but I know it's up. Kathy, please come forward.
Kathy Walker, 26051 Thorpe Court. The reason I'm up here is because yesterday I'd like to recognize the wonderful public service event that was held to acquaint the public with and introduce some of the public to our police force. It was lovely. We had our chief, Doug Carmack, and our deputy chief, the dynamic duo there, Ken Pellin, cooking and serving things, and it was really good to see the kids interacting. And I think with what's going on outside of Groseal, it's nice that people are reaching out. They seemed very, a lot of people were coming. It was really very nice, and I like seeing it, and I just wanted to mention it because I think it should be recognized. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Yes, if any, and I know some of us, because I bumped into Kyle and David there, it was very nice. There was a nice steady stream of people coming through. The kids, certainly, they had things set up for kids to actually knock down doors and do some shooting, and and they had a few hot dogs, which they might have had a few left over, but it was a very nice event. Thank you, Kathy, for mentioning that. Anyone else? Mr. Zalasko.
Good evening, Bob Zalasko, Blauvelt. You didn't do the supervisor's report, and we haven't done the manager's report, so what the issues I'm going to comment, maybe we're in those, I don't know.
That's fine. That's why I say this is an experiment. We're just trying to change things up.
I would assume that you were going to make comment on the Meridian shutdown and bring the public up to date on it.
That will be taken care of.
Okay, and the other one would be, we've been talking some time about the bridge engineer report, and I think we were forecasting July or August.
You will hear that it has arrived.
That's also in the report?
That's in my report.
Good job. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, any other public comment? All right, seeing none, we will go to our reports. And we start with our illustrious clerk. Uda, take it away.
All right, here we go. Well, the first thing I'd like to report comes from Brian, that the absentee voter ballots will be issued or available for issuance on Thursday, September 29. Voters who have already requested a ballot can expect to receive their ballots in the mail during the first week of October. You can still obviously request an absent voter ballot, email, call, or stop in at Township Hall at the clerk's office. Brian and Elena and Colleen, right? A senior blonde moment?
Yeah.
Can we go that route?
You can go that route.
I can go that route. We'll be able to issue those for you. And then, of course, the state also has deadlines. The last day to register to vote for November in any manner other than in person with the local clerk for the November election is October 24th. So, and college kids, if you're up at school and you want to vote absentee, make sure that you check with us that we have your signature on file or that you voted in person previously. Every election in November, we have college students who want to come home and vote and or who want us to send them an absent voter ballot because they can't come home and vote, and without having that signature on file, we can't do anything for you. So, plan ahead, which my family would say is rich coming from me. Riffing on Kathy's kudos to the police department. The fire department is having an open house as well. But I assure you we will have fresh hot dogs, not the leftovers. Not the leftovers. The open house is scheduled for Sunday, October 9th, and it'll start at noon and goes to 4. And according to Chief Beaudry, there will be activity tables, information. There'll be people taking vitals if you want to have your blood pressure checked, your pulse taken to see, am I still alive? Am I still breathing? He has promised, hopefully, that there will be some cars that we can see cut up. Sparky, the motorized, no Sparky?
No, I was saying not mine.
Not your car, no, probably mine, but no. Sparky, the motorized fire dog, which I know will excite a lot of the kids. And there will, of course, also be a firehouse for kids to spray the hose at. That's something that my kids have always enjoyed. And, of course, there'll be a bake sale and the promised hot dogs. And that's from noon until 4 p.m. on Sunday, October 9th. Chief Beaudry also told me that there were 458 rescues year to date and 84 fire calls year to date. So it's been a very busy year for our volunteer fire department. And I think that's it for me today.
Thank you very much. David?
Thank you. I always get the good news here. Groseal summer property taxes are due day after tomorrow, September 14th. And the following payment options are all currently available. Taxes are payable by mail, and a postmark on September 14th is accepted. You can pay in person at the treasurer's office here at Township Hall. You can use the drop box located outside of Township Hall. The Groseal branch of Public Service Credit Union during regular lobby hours, or online at groseal.com by e-check or charge card. Persons eligible for deferment of their tax payment must file their intent to defer by September 14th, 2022. Beginning September 15th, a 1% per calendar month penalty is added to any unpaid summer taxes and can still be paid to Groseal Township until February 14th. After that date, all unpaid summer and winter taxes become delinquent and then must be paid to Wayne County with further penalties. And to date, we have collected 70% of the summer tax roll, and distributions of school and county taxes have been made timely. Just another note, there will be representatives of Public Service Credit Union here at Township Hall on the 14th, just as an informational booth for residents that might be interested in that. Now that's it from the Treasurer's Office. From the Commerce Park and Airport Commission, the landscaping at the Pirates Cove project that's on the north side of Grow, They're working on the landscaping, and it is near to being complete. So we expect that within the next, maybe within the next 2 weeks, the landscaping in front of that project along Grove will be completed. And anybody who's interested in rental space, either at the Commerce Park or over here at the airport, you can contact our airport manager, Janelle McNee, and she's at extension 252. There is rental space available in both locations. And an invite, the airport nature area, which is at 28820 East River Road, on September 17th, which is this coming Saturday. There's a twilight hike, and everybody's invited to attend. Our DPS commission, our next Commerce Park meeting is September 19th, next Monday. From the DPS commission, whose next meeting is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock here in the boardroom. And there will be a presentation on the road millage that will be on the November 11th? No, 8th? No, what's the November 9th? 8th? On the November 8th ballot, there will be a request for approval of a road millage, but the informational program is going to be at our meeting tomorrow night, and it will also be repeated at our next meeting on October 11th. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you very much. Trustee Kyle?
Yes, thank you. So as mentioned early on this month, my family caught COVID, so I feel behind on a lot compared to where I was before. But I'm grateful to the Township Board for allowing me to participate in some of what I was able to participate in. For the Planning Commission, it looks like we will finally be able to meet on October 3rd. It's not completely confirmed yet, but from all the responses that I've seen, that will likely be the next meeting of the Planning Commission. When I joined, I asked constituents to reach out to me, and 2 of them actually reached out to me about the land around Centennial Farm, which under the previous township board was almost sold. And so I did get an email about that earlier today, as I know a couple of others did. So I'll steal the thunder on that one and say where we are on just that, and just in general is a realtor was hired, Brooke McNee, at the last township board meeting. She's currently looking at different pieces of land, and yeah, if that were to be sold at any point, that would come up later. So that's kind of where we are now. But of course, we'll let Mr. Budney and Mr. Thiel add to that if is needed. And just in general, I'll say, being on the outside, I know I expected. It seemed like you all had some tough conversations up here. I'll just say it that way, and I expect those to come. I'm sure they will come, but at least so far, I've seen a board that's really working well together, and it is really nice to see that. I'm not Pollyannish. If there are issues that come up that people have issues with, I want those to come up and people to be and people to advocate their views strongly. But at least so far, I've seen some real good coordination and decisions being made with, I think, different viewpoints. So that I'll leave it at that for tonight.
Thank you, Kyle. I'm glad you're finally better. Joe.
Good evening. I sit on the Police Commission, and they meet the 3rd Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. In this room. Just a couple things. Last week we interviewed for police officer, and this was for the anticipation of one of the patrolmen from Grosse Ile will be retiring in the end of October or middle of October, I believe, and I think that it is set. All his paperwork is in, and so we'll see what the Township Board does, and we're going to talk about that once this gentleman leaves, and we'll go from there. But at least we have a list of 1, 2, and 3 ready to go, so the turnaround on that will be very quick. Second thing is last Sunday they had their open house. They did a really nice job. They had all their equipment out. They had things for the kids, things to see, things to do. It was very nice. They put on a nice open house, and it was steady. The people from 4 to 7, it was constant, steady. It was nice to see all the people that came out and wanting to see what their police department is doing for them. So that's it, Jim.
Okay, thank you, Joe. And I would reiterate that they really did a nice job at that open house. It was fun for the people that showed up, especially I think the SWAT vehicle. The kids found the horn.
Oh, I thought you meant the demonstration. That was good too, though.
The horn was going constantly. Jameson.
All right, good evening. I sit on the Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee and the Zoning Board of Appeals. There'll be no BPAC meeting this month. However, that commission does continue to work diligently to improve the walk and bikeability of our little island. And the Zoning Board of Appeals, which met previously last month, and where we reviewed 2 variances and approved them. And currently there's not a ZBA meeting scheduled for this month, but there could be if a petitioner seeks zoning variance. And then the only other, Derek, how did the bridge report arrive digitally, or is it like a book?
It's a book. It's about 237 pages, and I was going to speak of this, but since you're asking, it's about 237 pages. About 16 pages is the report. The rest of it is what we already had, the various inspection reports, etc., from Wayne County. So what I'm going to be asking you guys tomorrow, whether you want the full 237 or just the 16 that it does a summary of what they looked at and their conclusions.
Okay.
So we don't have to copy off 237 for everybody. So, but that I will be going out with that to you guys this week.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jameson, thank you. Mr. Bletcher, of course, was excused from the meeting, so Carl's comments will be short. Okay, Township Attorney, Mr. Assorti.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor and member of the board. The good news is, and I'm trying to get all the details at this point, but it looks like on starting October 1st, the 33rd District Court is going to start. It's going to be in a case-by-case basis, but almost start to have a situation where everyone's going to be required to attend. For some reason, at the district court level, and those are, you know, the minor infractions, those types of things, it's very difficult for the judges and the people communicating. You know, a lot of the attorneys that are used to Zoom now, that are on it every day, that's not as big a problem as somebody that maybe gives a traffic ticket that tries to get on via Zoom. And there's a lot of time invested in that. So some of it's working well when there's all the attorneys are involved. So I just heard from 33rd the last time we spoke that we were looking at October 1st for modifying the current requirements for attendance. I just thought everybody find an update of what's going on with the court. Wayne County, there's no change, no indication there's going to be a change, but we'll see. And kind of on a state level, you know, some of the things, I usually take a look at the things that what's going on with the state, at the state level that might affect the local municipalities. There's not a whole lot going on at this point, given the election cycle that's happening and a lot of things that are going on. But I try to watch for things that are pointed out there to look for. Notices that start to come out from the various agencies, those types of things, to get a sense of what's coming down the road. So this is one of those don't shoot the messenger type of meetings, and I know the island's a wonderful place, and we have a very broad spectrum of opinions, and I'm not going to get into the opinions, but whether you like it or not, whether you're for it or against it, doesn't matter. Clean energy and the provisions about clean energy are going to continue to change, whether it's solar or wind energy. The impact on local communities, even like ours, it's going to be there. Most communities, like ours, now have special use authorizations, for those types of provisions. For instance, for a solar field, those types of things, so that our planning commission would have appropriate time to look into it, those things. But one of the reasons that I'm bringing this up is that there's the Michigan Next Cities program that Eagle put out. And the reason I'm putting it out is it was funded by a $3.5 million grant from the state of Michigan. So it's got some legs, and it's gonna have some impact. They claim that the previous green energy programs, fortunately or unfortunately, try to put a lot of things into, all the eggs into one basket, one size fits all type of scenarios. And obviously what's appropriate for us or a UP Township or the city of Detroit is going to be a different situation, whether it's appropriate where to have a solar field or a wind farm, those types of things. The Michigan Next Cities program claims that the purpose of it is to provide individual specialized assistance to local communities to work within those parameters, the state parameters. But the reason I'm telling you is there's going to be a push, and we can see it coming. There's going to be a directive from the state. And as we've seen in some of the prior situations as far as cell phones are concerned, the cell tower, the 5G, those types of things, watch for a push to take that local aspect out of it. And I think that that's where this is going. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm not saying it's good, I'm just telling you that it's there. Obviously, if anything like this comes up, I speak immediately with Derek and Brian Borden, and we're aware of that type of thing. Nothing's being pushed right now. There's just a lot of, for lack of a better term, chatter about that area of the law, and I think as soon as the elections are over, you're going to start to see some things from the state as far as directives on what communities should be pushing for or not pushing for with those things. So hopefully I didn't speak too long and give you that kind of information, but thank you.
Yeah. More authority is going to be taken away from us. We're going to be told what to do. Thanks, Tom. Derek's report.
Good evening, Supervisor and board members. Just a couple items this evening. First, residents should be aware, Dump the Junk, Find a Treasure is going to be September 24th, 2022 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that's going to take place at the DPW yard at 8555 Grow Road. I believe there's a flyer on our website so you can see what information is available. I'm sorry, the information will be available there as far as what items can be taken and what cannot. So once again, September 24th from 9 until 4, and this will be actually the second event this year. They had one earlier that was a great success, as they all have been, so they decided they wanted to schedule one this fall, so expect to be a good turnout for that one as well. I'm sure the majority of the residents, hopefully the majority of the residents, received a number of notices over the weekend with regards to the closure of Meridian Road. So a little bit of background on what the purpose of that closure is. DTE will be running a second electrical feed from the Trenton side of the river over to the Groseal side of the river in the upcoming months. Where that second feed will be coming across and connecting to the grid is right at the Meridian Parkway intersection, kind of where that Douglas right-of-way is, where you see that large area where all those large power lines go behind those homes. It's in that general vicinity. So to be able to connect this new second feed, they actually need to open cut the road, and they're working in an area of about 300 feet between Hickory Circle and Groseal Parkway. So it'll actually be south of the public safety building. So that's the reason that the closure is necessary. That's going to start this Wednesday, starting around 9 a.m. The school districts have been notified. The push notifications went out. They don't anticipate it extending beyond 2 weeks. They hope it'll actually be shorter than that, but they're, I think, overestimating how long, just to be on the safe side. There will be detour signage that will be posted for residents to know how to get around that area. But I think the majority of us understand, you know, what is necessary to avoid that area and to get around to go where you need to go. So just a little bit of information and background on that. Once again, it's a DTE project. We were notified on Friday of this occurring, so we wanted to get the word out to the residents as soon as possible. So I guess the alternative would be not to run that second feed and run the risk of not having electricity, but I don't think we want to do that. So it's a necessary infrastructure project, and residents hopefully will have a little bit of patience with regards to that closure, because it absolutely is necessary. So that is one notice about an event occurring, actually two notices about events occurring. I have a third as well, excuse me. There will be a annual information meeting concerning the Groseal Naval Air Station Groseal site here, the old Naval Air Station property. This is an annual meeting where the Army Corps updates about any environmental work that is ongoing. That will be taking place on September 14th from 6 to 8. And that will be held virtually. The information about how to attend that meeting is available on the front page of our website. So Brian's had that up for about a month or so. So if residents are interested, they'll go over various sampling they're doing, remediation efforts or plans that they have. So if you're interested in attending, you can do that virtually, I believe this Wednesday from 6 to 8. And then last, there has been a number of conversations taking place about the playscape. I think most residents are aware that it's been closed for a month or two. The Recreation Department did get an inspection done on the playscape, and it was found to be something that was unsafe, so hence the closure. It is the intent of the township to demolish the playscape, and we'll probably be doing it in-house with our DPW staff. That will probably take place in October or November. It is the intent of the Recreation Department, as I understand it, to replace it. I think they're debating about the location at this point, but there will be a replacement for that playscape. It's just exceeded its longevity, and thus it needs to be removed. Any markers with regards to the volunteer nature of the installation of that playscape will be preserved. I know there's a couple of rocks out there and some signage that will all be preserved to make sure that that doesn't get demolished, and we can continue to recognize the efforts of the individuals that put that up in the early 90s. So I just wanted to put that out there for the Recreation Department. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Derek.
Jim, I'm sorry, can I
go ahead,
just
Joe.
make a comment?
Sure.
And Derek, the cameras that we put in years ago, I made sure that we're in the public areas. I'll talk to Doug, and I definitely would like the cameras then removed, but taken to the new, I don't know if he talked to you about that, but wherever you guys decide or the rec department decides, and then I don't know if it comes to the board or not, but wherever it goes. Wherever it goes, I definitely would like to see the police department move that equipment that was put up there. I think it's important, especially for the children, the parents, and the people out here.
Sounds good. Good. All right, Supervisor's report. And this might be the first time in 2 years that my report is going to be the longest report. Have a lot to go over, and most of it good. First of all, I would like to... I should turn my mic on. Thank you, Mike. First of all, I would like to welcome Jerry and Jennifer Jacobson to our business community. They just recently purchased the Groseal hardware store. And so we welcome them and wish them well in their endeavor. I'd also want to say thank you to the Biddles, who owned it previously, and did a great job for Grozeal. Thanks, guys, for doing that. Secondly, talking to the township manager, there doesn't appear that we're going to have any business coming up here in the next 2 weeks. So unless there is some great cries, we will be canceling our September 26th meeting, board meeting, and our next meeting will be October 10th, 2022. I want to mention I'm on the DDA board. I just wanted to mention that the DDA will be the murals. We have 2 murals going up. One will be on the side of the Ever Ready Cleaners Building, and that's ready to go. And then we're working on putting another one up on the side of the VFW hall. So that'll be starting hopefully very soon. We also have sculptures that are going to be coming to the Macomb Street, and we're working out where they're going to be placed. And they will be this art that's coming to Macomb will be up and down Macomb. It won't be centered in one spot. It'll be all over by the time we get through with it, and it should make Macomb a little nicer to look at. So we have that. The next item is something that I wish I didn't have to talk about, but I've gotten so many emails on this that something I actually got tired of answering emails, so I'm just going to say something for the masses, and it's regarding the rec department's bingo event. We have people. First of all, events like that do not come to the board. There was a big misconception in the emails I received that the board approved this, that the board was involved. The board isn't involved in everything that goes on in this township, and events like this are one of those things that we're not involved in. So this event was came up with by the rec department, I was told, but evidently the rec commission was also involved. So just to start, board not involved. However, there has been a good amount of controversy, at least crossing my desk, and since I wasn't part of it, that adds to my distress, because I wasn't aware of how it came about, what took place and what went on. But I had asked our rec director to give me a statement for this meeting so that I could explain to you from the director's words what transpired, but I failed to get anything from her. So you're going to hear my words on it. People, we live in a community. In a community, things are going to go on that you like, and things are going to go on that you don't like. It's never going to be 100%. So with that said, I would simply say this. For those of you who are happy about the event, and I would say this, there is a group that obviously is looking forward to this event. It's my understanding that the tickets for this event were sold out in 4 hours. They sold out all their tickets in 4 hours for this, so there are people out there that want this event. What they failed to understand was there could be people who either wouldn't want this event, or certainly, as I've seen, are offended by this event. So I would say this. For those of you who are happy about the event, who like the event, please go to it, enjoy it. I will say that I believe that the people that are putting it on did it simply from the standpoint that it was going to be good entertainment for people. So go and enjoy it. Now, for those of you that were offended by this, I would say go to the rec commission meeting and let them know your displeasure. You know, you have a voice either doing that or the next time you know, the rec renewal comes around, vote accordingly. But you have a way to have your voice heard. But I would overall say, please remember that this is a community, and you're going to have a give and take. You're going to have some things you like, some things you don't like. If you don't like it, don't participate. But please don't get over angry about everything. I will say because of the event and what it is, there was a lack of thought on the organizer's part that people could be upset with it, and I will merely say that I can tell you that will not happen again. So that's the bad news that I have. The good news is coming, and will take some time here. First of all, the engineering report, as we've talked about, we have finally gotten it, and it will be given to the board this week. Very quickly in looking it over, despite it being as large as it is, I am happy to report that it hasn't told us anything we didn't already know. I was somewhat disappointed in that we did ask the engineering company to try and give us a useful life on the bridge under whatever scenario, and they wouldn't do it. They said it's too complex an issue, things change daily. What they did say in their short conclusion was they did say the bridge wouldn't last 30 years if work isn't done on it, and so I don't think that is eye-popping or eye-opening. Everybody, absolutely everybody involved knows that that bridge needs further work. But as I say, the report is out and the board will be getting it this week. Which segues me into Wayne County and the bridge and road work for the island. So sit back and relax, because here's what we have. And hopefully this answers some of the people's questions and it changes their mind a little bit about Wayne County and Wayne County ignoring Groseal, because they are not. First off, there is a contract out for what they call a scoping project. And the purpose of that project is to look at short-term, mid-term, and long-term viability of the current bridge, as well as recommended fixes. H&H is the third-party engineering company that will be doing this, and that project will start this month. The idea with that is that the contract will give the Wayne County options needed to deal with the bridge and whether it should be replaced or when it should be replaced. What it won't do is talk about the purpose of that is not to deal with, if it is a new bridge, where would the new bridge be? So that'll be taken care of later when they find out what they want to do. Secondly, with that bridge, and what I think a lot of people want to hear, is the work on the piers that weren't done before. They are currently reviewing a proposal to do the repair on the 5 piers as well as the protection islands. The goal is to have the repairs conducted in 2023 or at the latest 2024. And the indication right now is that the types of closures that we had with the last fix of the piers will not be needed for these repairs. What I've been told is hopefully if there's any shutdown, it might be like a 9 to 3 on a certain day, or maybe a couple days, but no long extended shutdowns of that bridge. Also, the next scheduled underwater inspection is taking place in September. So the June inspection that we had was just focused on the superstructure. So the underwater inspection will be done in September. So speaking of bridges, other bridges on the island that are going to be taken care of. The Ferry Road Bridge, the Elba Island Bridge. Engineering is being done in 2023, with construction of those bridges being done in 2024. The Swan Island Bridge will be replaced in 2025. The Meridian Road Bridge, I think we've talked about that. The Meridian Road Bridge is a little different in that not only will the bridge be replaced, but as part of that project, Meridian Road will be repaved from Parkway to Horse Mill Road. And that was supposed to start in 2022. They've had problems with materials for the bridge. The bridge has to be replaced before they're going to do any repaving. So it looks like it'll be 2023 for that to be done. And one other bridge, the Park Lane Bridge, that everybody believes was being ignored, and I too believe it was being ignored, because it's actually a little traveled bridge, and thus it goes down to the bottom as far as looking for repair. But the Park Lane Bridge is being bundled with 6 other bridges in Wayne County, and they are going to get money under the Infrastructure Investment and Job Act to repair those 7 bridges. So the Park Lane Bridge will be repaired also. Which brings me to our paving work. I already mentioned Meridian Road will be repaved from Parkway through Horse Mill. This one really surprised me. East River Road, from Ferry to Stout, and from Church to Park Lane on Horse Mill, is going to be repaved this year. And the reason for if people aren't familiar with it, from Stout to Church, they had repaved East River Road. So that's why there's that stop and start, is because that gap in there from Stout to Church on East River had already been repaved. That is going to be done this fall. And as possibly as a cherry on the top, we talked to them, and they they can't do it as part of the Jefferson Road project. It wasn't included in that, but they will try to repave Bridge Road from the toll booths to Jefferson next year out of their heavy maintenance fund. So all those things are happening for our island. As good as that sounds, and it is good. It's all good news for us. I know we've heard from township residents that if we pass our local road millage that is coming up in November, the county will reduce what they're doing. They're fully aware of what we're doing with that road millage and it being there, and they are going ahead and doing all these other projects, which of course they should be doing, and we're getting what we should get. The fund, if in fact that road millage is passed, those funds will be used to enhance and increase our township projects. The residential roads, many of our side roads, our connector roads between Meridian and East River, or Meridian and West River, many of those roads, those will never be addressed by Wayne County, simply because traffic count and they just don't have the money to do it. So I wouldn't want anybody to walk away thinking that we don't need our road millage. I really would implore you to go to the meetings on the open houses on the road millage and listen to the program. The program really, literally, in the time that millage will be paid down, we can fix all our roads in some way, shape, or form, and make Groseal a very pleasant place to drive, walk, bike, whatever you want to do on it. So with that, I'm going to just ask Derek and David if they have any comment.
Well, again, a reminder that our next DPS meeting is tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock in this boardroom. We'll be reviewing the flyer that everybody, which was mailed to every residence on the island. We'll be reviewing that, answering all the questions that any residents have regarding that the millage, if passed, will address, as far as Mr. Supervisor said, the connector roads, and we anticipate that in addition to the ferry, the Bellevue, those roads, that there will be sufficient funds over the course of that project to address some of the more residential areas, residential roads that are not considered on Groseal, considered a primary road. So we encourage everybody to attend the meeting, ask your questions. get the answers from the people who put this together. You know, a lot of work and time and effort went into coming up with a millage that we believed was workable, was fair, with an eye on, you know, the overall millage rate that our taxpayers pay, and that's it. I just can't encourage you more to show up and have your questions answered.
And I would echo kind of what the treasurer and the supervisor had mentioned. Attend those meetings, get educated as far as what those funds are going to be used for. I know through the supervisor's report, you know, the county's work that they're proposing is by no means small. I mean, it's pretty significant. But you'll notice a substantial amount of it is associated with bridges. I mean, there's a substantial cost associated with replacing those pieces of infrastructure, $2, $3, $4 million a piece. So it doesn't leave a ton of additional funds available as far as the county, I think, is concerned to do these residential neighborhood roads, or even some of these main connector roads like Ferry, Bellevue. I mean, they were very open in our most recent conversation that those it's going to be very difficult for them to get to those roads just with this project list that they have. And as far as East River Road, you know, that is new information that came out probably in the past month and a half to us. Those funds that would have been allocated to the project list from that millage will be reappropriated to other areas. So that project list is flexible as far as, you know, if the county steps to the table, takes care of a primary road, those funds will be taken and used somewhere else in the community, because Lord knows we need those funds to be used in a lot of different places in the community. There's no lack of need. You know, just a quick couple comments, you know, and we will always, as we have, continue to press the county to, you know, invest in our community and repair those pieces of infrastructure that need to be taken care of. So that's all I have.
Yeah, and I follow up on that. We are in constant contact with the county on that, and it appears to be paying dividends. And if in fact the millage passes, that money will be looked at. We will continue to try and get the county to do more for us, but we will also try to get the county, if they won't just do it, if they will partner with us, which they really do like to do, because you know, their money goes farther. We have less money to spend on a project that way, and so we will continue to push that. So nothing's going to stop. We're gonna do that all the way through. We do have a good relationship with Wayne County right now, and I think it's going to pay dividends for us. As far as certainly connector roads are down on the list, but I will tell you, Wayne County doesn't do any residential roads. They just don't have the funds, and you can imagine with all the primary roads that are in Wayne County, that's where all that road money goes. We're not only concerned with our meridians and East Rivers and West Rivers, but we're concerned about the interior roads, the residential roads. When you turn off a church onto Canterbury, we're interested in Canterbury being good, and Stout, you know, all of those residential roads, and we will be able to do some work on those roads all over the island. The whole island will be improved with this, so I absolutely encourage you to go to these meetings and be informed. I mean, you can, you know, absolutely you vote the way you want to vote, but at least be informed and know what you're doing. So that's it. That's
Jim?
it.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead, Joe.
Are you done?
No, I'm done. I'm done.
If we could just go back real quick on the engineer issue, is it possible? I know I haven't read it. I haven't got the program yet, but Is it possible we might be able to meet with those two gentlemen again? I just, it's kind of mind-boggling that they wouldn't answer one question. There's 3 that we had that we didn't know answers to, and I know you said everything they've given us we knew already about. I don't want to get into the questions now. Obviously, it's too late. I'm not trying to debate this. But is it possible we might be able to meet with them?
We can certainly contact them.
Is that, because
Yeah.
there's some questions
Yeah,
I would definitely like
'cause
to ask them.
When the report showed up, we actually called them and said, hey, you know, what we asked for, give us just, I mean, you're not going to pinpoint a life, but give us a life.
Right,
And-
that's their job. I
and
mean, that's why they're engineers and we're not.
Yeah, exactly. And they said, no, we can't do that.
Well, there's 3 right off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
so,
like-
no, we'll check into that.
Thank you.
They're not even sure it's going to last through tomorrow, or?
Well, it's going to last through tomorrow.
I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
you're good for tomorrow.
Yeah, you're good for tomorrow.
Yeah. So,
right,
yeah,
thank
that
you,
was
Jim.
disappointing. Yeah, we'll look into that, Joe, absolutely.
Thanks.
Any
That's
other
it.
comments or questions?
Just one that I've seen related to the road millage. I know I talked to you about this, Jim, was that people were wondering about the COVID money that came in and just where that was at. I was hoping you could talk about that. I know that adds to your report, but it just, I know people were curious about that.
Thank you. Right now, we had, or we will have this year, mainly because of a lot of retirements. We have a lot of expenses that are going to go over in various departments, and we have the ability to use those funds to make up that shortfall. There was, you know, when we looked at it and said, hey, we're getting $1 million, you know, which unfortunately, $1 million doesn't go that far for this township. We were actually, the first thought was, well, we'll put it into the wastewater treatment plant because that's a big project. At that time, that was the only big project on the table, and we said we can you know, decrease what we will need if from the residents, but as time went on. And the rules for it, I mean, originally we couldn't have done that. They did open it up. The amount of money that we got, we can use for something like that. So that's what we're going to use that for our shortfall. Hope that answers your question. Anything else?
No, I was
Going to make it, or you want me to?
No, you go ahead. I'm going to second you.
Okay, somebody's presupposing what I'm coming up with next. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry, Dave.